us today. Tiffany Allen, I manage our partner program here at Kwiktag by Paymerang. So if some of you guys are familiar with Kwiktag in the past, we were recently acquired by Paymerang. And with that came some really exciting new fun branding. I feel like it's a little Barbie themed right now, but I'm loving it. So today we're going to walk through simple AP automation exclusively for D365 Business Central, and we'll get right into it. We're going to walk through benefits, obviously, what advantages you can take advantage by being able to leverage an AP automation solution integrated to Dynamics. We'll go through a short demo. Just want to show you how quickly you can access AI data extracted, integrated to your environment. And we'll also highlight a customer success story, over $100,000 in savings. That's possible for you guys too. We'll wrap it up with questions. Drop that into the question pane, just as Michael said, and I will do my best to get to all of those today. So as a high level here, again, we're Kwiktag. We've Kwiktag by Paymerang. We were acquired by Paymerang earlier this year, but we've got 25 years of experience with digital transformation, document management, and AP automation exclusive to Dynamics. Today, we're going to walk through our AP automation for D365 Business Central, but keep in mind, we definitely support Dynamics GP as well. We've got a quick payables product that's very similar. Some highlights here is, guys, we are processing over 4 million documents per month. That's leveraging our artificial intelligence, our data extraction, extremely powerful and affordable for you too, with over 120,000 users across the globe. So let's get into the details. In terms of benefits, right, there are a lot of different, automation platforms out there. AI is a huge buzzword right now, but what I want to highlight is a smarter integrated AI. With us, what we do is we're going to extract every element off the invoice, header, footer, as well as those line items, purchase orders, details. If you're leveraging that, we've got you covered. But we've got a seamless integration to your Business Central environment. So what we want to do is validate and match vendor information, your company information, GLs, dimensions, purchase orders. And we do all that behind the scenes before your AP team or a coder even sees that invoice. And what that does is it ensures that it is a more automated process, right? We want to eliminate keystrokes 100%. We want to ensure or reduce fraud, being able to identify that this is, your appropriate vendor, but also just streamline the process for your team. We've got fully configurable workflows in there that ensure you can route the invoice to the appropriate person, department, company, location. And it's all configurable within the application. Maybe it's by dollar amount as well as company. We also have vendor workflow available. So lots of flexibility there. Other component is the affordability piece. And I'll tell you guys, there are huge benefits of artificial intelligence. Us being able to leverage those tools and integrate it directly with your environment in the cloud for BC Online has really driven the cost down. I mean, I've been in this space for over 15 years, and the cost is just, it blows my mind how much we've been able to, ensure the greater efficiency and a more affordable cost for AP automation. So we'll look at that definitely in detail today. Also, keep in mind, we try to simplify those things. It's only based on invoice volume. So it doesn't matter how many eyes you need on an invoice. They don't have to be a BC user either. Anybody that needs to see that invoice is going to have access. So unlimited users and no limits on your invoice volume, no minimums. We do have a very rapid time to solution, and this is definitely kind of maybe what sets Simply AP apart from many other solutions today, because we took our 25 years of experience in AP automation and we reconstructed Simply AP in the cloud for BC Online. We did so to ensure that it wasn't a project. We used to implement projects in 30 days, maybe sometimes 60 or 90, just depending on complexities of requirements. Not the case anymore. We have clients up and running in less than 2 hours, processing invoices, fully connected to Azure, single sign-on with your Active Directory, as well as fully integrated into your Business Central environment. The last component here is ease of use. I know that probably is, that's subjective, right? But I'm going to dive into products so you guys can see exactly what that looks like, and you can judge for yourself the ease of use component. Before we get right into demo, I do just want to highlight in terms of what is included with Simply AP. It is an all-inclusive solution in terms of we're going to capture that invoice for you. That could be, by email, setting up a forward on an existing inbox. It can be browsing out to a file on your machine, configuring your local printer scanner. As we ingest those invoices, we leverage artificial intelligence, the data extraction to extract all the information off that invoice. And then we're immediately flowing to Business Central to do some matching. Did we find a PO? If so, we're going to go the bottom path of this chart here. We're going to do purchase order matching. And the beautiful part here is because we are integrated real time to your environment, we're going to be able to see what was on the original PO. We're also going to be able to see what receipts have come in. If we see a match, we will automatically flow that invoice directly into Business Central. We call that straight through processing, and it removes any human interaction required. Granted, that is a setting. If we want to take baby steps and you're not ready, or you're just getting started with AI and data extraction, that's okay. You can flip the switch after you've seen the power of the tool, how successful it is in extracting the data. But really, it's a huge game changer in terms of ensuring that if there is a purchase order and there's a match, there's no need to have eyes on that invoice. If we see it's a match, let's get it into BC real time. We're doing that in less than 60 seconds. Now, non-PO invoices, top half of the chart here, right? Absolutely, we're leveraging intelligent coding to default the way you coded it last time to streamline the process, ensure maybe there's no errors on that coding if you got some new people on your AP team, and that flexible workflow, 100%. Upon final approval, automatically creating the transactions. No exports, no imports, completely seamless. All right, let's get into products here. I am going to switch my little screen share here, and I will show you guys Simply AP. Let's see. Perfect. Cece, can you see my screen okay? That's not really what I want to show, but can you see Simply AP now?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Cece's joined us, guys. She is our customer success manager for Simply AP. She's going to help answer questions today. Pop them in that chat window. So Cece, thanks for being here. Love it, love it. What I'm going to highlight here is this is Simply AP web interface, as you can imagine, again, fully integrated to your BC environment. I'm logged in as an admin here in AP, so these are all the invoices that have come into my queue. But what I want to do, let me get this out of here. What I want to do is highlight for you guys the power of how quickly invoices come into the system. You'll see there's no invoices in here yet today, 7:26. So let's get some in. I've got two invoices here, a Big 5 invoice, and this one is a purchase order invoice. Got to drag it over, my apologies. So we'll open it again. I've got two invoices, the non-POs right here, and this one is for $492 to interiors. We also have the Big 5 invoice, that's the PO invoice, and that is for $6,090. We're gonna get both of those into the system really easily. The way we do that here is, in my case, is I'm just gonna forward it by email. We'll give you guys an email input, same scenario, you can set up that forward. You can also leverage adding invoices right here with that plus button that allows you to browse out to grab any invoices you might have there. And you also obviously have the ability to leverage scanners with email being directed straight into Simply AP. We've got a very robust search engine here that allows you guys or highlights the integration to BC. I only have one company in my environment today. We certainly support multiple companies in your BC environment, but it will allow you to filter by vendor. That's reading directly from BC, a dollar value, statuses, where is that invoice in process? Who is it assigned to? What type of invoice it is? So very robust search. We also have a simple search. That would be like a vendor calls in and they want to know status. You would type in that invoice number, or you can leverage type of head here functionality fully, again, integrated to your BC environment. Here are all my Big 5 invoices. So let's go ahead and hit refresh. I did forward two invoices in today. One's popped in. the non-PO invoice. Because what you see in this grid view is all the information that was extracted leveraging AI, reading all the fields off that invoice. Let's click into it and we'll show you the power there. First, you're going to see the digital version of the invoice on the right-hand side. I do need to claim the invoice. That ensures that if you've got multiple people on a team, nobody's stepping on each other's toes. You'll notice now all my fields are illuminated. Now, the good news is they're illuminated in green, and that is telling you that we found a high capture confidence rating in extracting this field of data. When we extract things like vendor, we don't just look at the name, we also look at the phone number and the email address so we can help define, do we have the right vendor ID? We know you've got multiples, in many instances. So we have a high capture confidence rating with all these fields. Doesn't always come in that way, but I'll show you another example, where you can ensure that you had a zero focus, quick focus into what needs attention. But everything was extracted accurately, our invoice dates, our due dates, our total, $492.80. And what you'll see down here is we do have one warning. It's just highlighting for us that we still need to code that $492.80. But the beautiful part here is leveraging our intelligent coding. We know how you coded this invoice last time. Last time, Interiors, you coded it to rent expense against the office business group or small sales. That's all defaulting. So if you've got that new person on the AP team, this is going to eliminate the risk of them potentially miscoding things, right? So let's split this across our two different GLs. And we'll put some to repairs and maintenance. And I also want to highlight that you can code at the dimension level, at the header level as well, not just the line item. We'll grab a salesperson here. We'll code this to Jim Olive. You also have comments. So Jim, correct. And then you can simply now submit this invoice for review and approval. Now on this one, it is a non-PO invoice, so we will want to route it. I'm going to send it to myself just for ease and demo. As I do that, it's updated the status immediately. You'll now see over here on the right, it's in a pending status. You will get an email notification as a reviewer to go in and review and approve those invoices, absolutely. But now as a reviewer, things are locked down. I don't have edit rights in this particular instance, but I can see, again, the digital version of the invoice. I can see all the coding at the dimension level, line level, including dimensions. I can see the dimension at the header level. If I would have sent this to CC for approval, there would have been a little one above comments letting her know that, hey, is that salesperson Jim correct? Yes, but because I coded it and it went to myself, it does not populate the little highlight for me. Additionally, you've got history. It's capturing every instance, not only just date and timestamps of how it flows through, but any metadata updates that we completed, again, splitting that 492 across the two GLs. Now, in this instance, for simplicity's sake, I am the last stage of approval here. It's under $500. As I can approve, that invoice is out of my queue. It's actually already in Business Central. We'll pop over there. We are integrated here at the purchase invoice level. I'm going to assert these invoices in a descending stage, and there we go, 492 Interiors. As I click into that invoice, guys, here's all that data. It flowed through real time upon approval. I didn't do any data entry at the header level. The only data entry I did at the GL level was simply splitting our dollar amount, 400 versus the 9280. We've got all the details of the department code and the customer code flowing through seamlessly as well. Again, only data entry was the 400 and the 92. Shame on me, that's not the case. We grabbed the dimension, right? So let's go highlight that at the header level. So there's our salesperson, Jim Olive, also flowed through. Now, we have a very light footprint within D365 Business Central. We are in the fact box here. You'll see Simply AP. I can view the document. One click back to the approved transaction from Business Central. Here you are. It's highlighting. It's created in the ERP. It's completely locked down. All those details are there, obviously, including the comments, the history, and again, seamlessly created real time based on our integration to your BC environment. Now, we did send 2 invoices in. So Why did it not pop in the queue? I had mentioned before, we have something called straight through processing. If it's a PO match, we will seamlessly integrate the transaction directly into Business Central. And that's what happened with this Big 5 invoice. It was $6,090 and it is in here already. Transactions created, no data entry. We didn't even have eyes on this one. That's configurable. You can pop it into AP if you wanted to double check it before it's created, but it still can bypass any workflow if you'd like. And then just to validate for you guys, this is the invoice we sent in. Let's go back. Let's drill into the transaction. I'll hit Simply AP View, and it takes me back to the approved transaction. Again, highlighting that it was created in the ERP, digital version of the invoice right there. Now, the power of the straight through processing and the PO matching is here. I'm going to minimize that. What you see in the middle of this table, invoice is everything that was extracted off of the invoice. We read the invoice like a human eye would. We pulled off all those descriptions, the amounts, the quantities, the prices. All of that is from the invoice. Invoice here, purchase order here. This is what we read off of the approved purchase order within Business Central. This is also what we read off the receipts. We present it in one view, so your AP team is not bouncing around, going in and out of applications. It's all in one view for you to easily confirm that this was a complete match. It's a match right here. There was zero difference. There is zero difference. And that's how we were able to automatically approve it and create the transaction in Business Central. So you'll see here, the document was received with us today, 9/21. It was approved at 9/21, again, based on exactly what you see above. It was a PO match, $6,090. And it was sent into the ERP at 9:21 a.m. Less than 60 seconds, you can create those transactions, those PO matched invoices directly in the ERP. Again, fully configurable. I do want to highlight just, one other invoice here. Just not everything always comes through perfectly right. But it's always good to see both ends of the spectrum. Here's another big 5 invoice that came in. And the beauty here is we leverage kind of like a traffic light system to ensure that we bring AP's attention to exactly what needs to be addressed. And this, maybe there's multiple vendor IDs, right? We don't have a phone number on this. We want to validate that. The due date is not on the invoice. We auto-calculated that based on the payment terms off the vendor card. We don't see that it's US dollars on here. But the important part here is it's showing $298.10 do not match. But the beauty is we tell you exactly why it doesn't. On the invoice, they invoiced us for 10. We issued a PO for 10, right? We issued the PO for 10. And then we only have the 9 receipts. So it's going to highlight for you exactly what is off. That's the beautiful part there. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to do that stare and compare. We do it for you. All right. Let's get back and wrap this up. I know we don't have a ton of time with you guys, so I'm going to jump back into our presentation. Cece, do we have any questions as of yet?
I don't see any yet.
Guys, get ready because we're about to wrap it up. Put those questions in the queue there. So we're going to move on to that customer success story that we discussed at the top of the call. OSIS is, interestingly enough, we may have some people here that are, making a transition from GP to Business Central. That was OSIS. That's a perfect example. They were an early adopter of D365 Business Central. They were used to an AP automation solution. And as they transitioned, they really struggled with finding an integrated solution to BC that seamlessly created those transactions. They needed AP to have insight into where those invoices were. People were definitely still in a remote status, and they were constantly paying late fees and trying to understand where invoices were in the queue. As they leveraged Simply AP, they're obviously able to access invoices from both Simply AP online as well as Business Central if they have a Business Central license. They love the intelligent coding because it's definitely ensured that they've got accuracy to their GL and dimension coding, and their users love it. I mean, there's really not a huge training path to go down because the user interface is pretty intuitive. Other component for them is they tried to implement 3 different solutions over about 18 months. None were successful. One call with us, less than 2 hours, they were processing invoices. So again, you can leverage AP automation, fully integrated, not as this long-term project. We also have a free trial that would allow you to test things out before you even have to buy.
Hey, Tiffany, I've got a few questions for you, if you don't mind.
Fire away.
Oh, great. Okay, so we have some questions in the question box chat. How does it handle discrepancies or exceptions in the invoice processing?
Oh, love it. So let's bounce back into the application. So it's going to highlight those discrepancies for you. But the beautiful part here is you can augment this, right? So if they only received 9 and the PO was only for 9, oh, I got to claim it. Shame on me. Cece, you got to keep me in check.
I was just going to say that, but you're good. You're good.
You can go in here and you can deal with those exceptions right here. You can make that modification. You also, in this particular PO, freight was not on the invoice, right? So I can delete this line, absolutely. I can go to the account level and add freight. Additionally, how do you deal with, maybe cause of concern? Absolutely. You're going to leverage that comments field. You're going to put in here, do we need an extra chair? Is it on back order? And you can leverage the comments field that are always going to be permanently stored within that transaction, routing it to those reviewers and approvers. Exception invoices absolutely can be overridden by the AP team. I would just love to, hopefully we can connect offline afterwards and get a better idea in terms of what exceptions you're concerned about, and we'll step through those with you. What else you got?
Does Simply AP work with GP? We aren't moving to BC for another year or so.
Not a worry. We've got Quick Payables. That is our AP automation solution for Dynamics GP. The user interface is slightly different than this, but it's a hugely robust, exceptionally popular product. Happy to set some time to walk through that solution with you.
Does it handle multi-currency transactions?
Simply AP currently does not handle multi-currency. That is on our roadmap though, absolutely. Quick Payables for Dynamics GP does handle multi-currency.
Awesome. Oh, and another one, what happens if an invoice sits in someone's inbox for too long?
Cece, can you do that one while I get our demo back up here?
I would be happy to. So if it sits in the queue for too long, it can be routed to the next approver, and you can actually set that duration time. So if you want to say that if it sits in a queue too long for 4 hours, then it automatically goes to the next approver. That could be 1 day, whatever that specific time period is. So the whole thought process here is that it doesn't sit for longer than what you specify as that time. So you don't just have invoices sitting there unapproved.
Nothing falls through the cracks.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've got another question. We've got questions flowing in here. So we have very specific approval processes with many approvers and reviewers. How customizable is the workflow?
So the workflow is, let me get in here. The nice part here is the workflow is configurable. So we have vendor and company workflows, as well as you can set thresholds within all of those. I'm jumping into user interface here. We've got some new videos coming out on our vendor workflows that we can share, but you'll see here, you can set it up by, if you've got multiple companies in BC, you can set it up by your different companies. You can set up individual workflows for vendors or groups. Maybe you want to set it up for IT versus marketing versus sale, and you can drag and drop, the beautiful part, drag and drop all the vendors that would be applicable to marketing versus sales. So you've got that, who's going to validate it, who's going to be able to do the coding, who can approve. This speaks to right here, that auto route after the duration that Cece mentioned.
Yes.
And we also have the option, no matter what workflow you design specific to your business, you also have the option to make sure that AP is the final check. Do you want to send it back to AP for one last check? So it is a very flexible workflow. Happy to connect with you offline to walk through your workflow requirements and how they'd be configured in the application.
That's all from me.
Okay. Well, we will
We
wrap
have
it up
another-
here.
Oh, we have one more question, Tiff. Is there an out of office option? So I just wanted to answer that quickly. Yes, there is. So if an approver is out of the office, it would automatically get routed to that next approver, because obviously, again, you don't want those invoices sitting there when that particular approver is out of the office. So just wanted to answer that quickly.
Yep, and there it is. I'm probably highlighting that on the screen, that right
Thank
there.
you.
It's that easy. And again, the auto routing, if something sits in the queue, takes care of maybe somebody that didn't think to set the out of office. Instead, they, unfortunately are out sick. So we ensure no invoice gets left behind, right? So on the OSIS success story, you guys, the beautiful part on this one, again, is, they were able to leverage a solution after a really painful 18 months with us in just hours, and they've eliminated 90% of their steps in their process. That has also included eliminating printers off of, entire office floors, and it is equated to an 80 to 90% improvement in their invoice processing times. They're no longer paying invoices late and having late fees assessed. They're no longer dealing with the, being inundated with vendor calls asking for status of payment. And for them, they helped us quantify this. They have a real, they had to justify the ROI on this. And they went back, and what they were able to do is, obviously, with eliminating so many of those steps in the process, they were actually able to redeploy one of their resources. A fantastic woman on their team that really had some, different career goals, and she really wanted to, expand into other areas of the business. And so they were able to redeploy her into another department, certainly contributing bottom line savings for that finance team, on top of all the other savings as it relates to, the late fees being eliminated that they had been paying, and as well as eliminating those additional steps in their process. As we wrap things up today, I do also want to highlight, I think I missed it in our prior slide in terms of affordability when we were talking about that. We just talked about how quickly you can get up and running with Simply AP. It's just a few hours. There's also zero implementation fee. I can't charge one, right? It's taking 2 to 3 hours for our clients to be up and running. So, we call it onboarding now, and it's absolutely zero cost to get integrated with us whatsoever. You've got that free trial option, so you can fully integrate to your BC environment. Obviously, you might want to test it with a test company in your BC environment, but I certainly hope you'll reach out to any of your client account managers at Velosio or Kristen Campbell and I here at Simply AP at Paymerang with any questions. Michael?
Excellent. Well, I loved all the questions that were coming in, and Tiffany and Kristen, I thank you so much for being here today as a valued partner of Velosio and showing this really incredible solution to make our clients' lives easier, right? At work, isn't that what it's all about?
Oh, yes,
So,
absolutely.
thank you so much, everyone. We were able to get through all of our questions today. However, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to your client account manager. If you're not sure who that is, you can reach out to Tiffany, you can reach out to Kristen, you can reach out to myself or Insider at Velosio.